Hey guys, welcome to part 6 of the Camaro series. So in this part, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to actually be removing the damaged apron. So kind of like the first step is I'm going to go ahead and remove any bolts I physically see. Visibly see, I don't know why I said physically, but it's not right. The whole cowl has to come off because the apron kind of tucks underneath. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take the hood off. I was kind of like not trying to take the hood off, but let me show you guys what I mean, why I have to take it off. So as you can see, the whole cowl is under. I could get away just clipping this off, but when all the spot welds are gonna come back in place, I don't want to melt anything. So the hood, the cowl, all this has to come off. This I kind of like I could tuck to the side. It's not that big of a deal because I could cover it with a welding blanket. But yeah, so I'm gonna set up a time lapse because all this has to come off. Alright, so I wanted to show you guys, oops, let it focus, there we go. So what I did is I took the hood off, I took the latches off, they're on the box right here, and I started taking off this trim. So this I got glued back on, it's just black silicone that's holding. I might actually take this whole thing off, clean it, and re-glue it, just so it looks better. So I'm just kind of like studying where the spot welds are. The front over here, the spot welds really don't matter no more because they don't connect nothing. But you can see it, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then I got all these 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 spot welds to hold this piece off. So I'm going to set up a camera. What I'm going to try right now, because I really don't have a spot weld grinder like the belt sander. I might have to buy one, but I'm going to see if I could just drill them out for the time being. So let's see how that works. This is a pain in the ass. One came out not that bad. I didn't realize this whole seam is spot welded. So I might have to, after all, get a belt sander and get them out. But for right now, I'm just going to be working off camera and trying to get as much done as I can. And I'll keep you guys posted when I get, hopefully, some progress done. Okay, so I don't have it on me right now. I left it in the truck, but I bought a hydraulic, like manual hydraulic body shop tool. It's kind of like one of those thing that forces. It's like a mini frame machine. I'll show it to you guys in a later clip. But for right now, to be able to use that properly and fix certain things, I have to remove this whole suspension assembly from this corner. So I'm gonna take a break from cutting and prying all that off, and I'm gonna focus on just pretty much removing this whole setup, just so I have more access to that corner without having stuff in the way. And there's suspension parts that need to be replaced over there anyways, so I might as well just get that out of the way right now and keep moving forward. Alright, so you guys saw I removed everything. There's a little complications with a couple of the bolts, like this one. GM, I don't know why you guys decided to do this stupidity. I understand safety reasons, but you couldn't have figured out maybe something a little bit better than a freaking 8mm, like, so that's supposed to be 8mm, but you could tell that's not 8mm. Like cotter pin or anything else would have worked besides this. So I got all this off. That was kind of like the main goal, just to get all this off and expose all the real damage. So right now I'm just gonna figure this out, get it off, and I will show you guys the end result. Okay, so I kind of figured out a tactic on removing this. I'm gonna go ahead and remove as much as I can today. I might have to order a belt grinder to get these suckers out, but for right now I'm just gonna focus on this strip and the top and work my way down there. I went to Harbor Freight, and like I showed you guys in a previous clip, I believe, I don't remember. So I bought that's a welding blanket, but I'm using it for grinding because it's just shooting up so much dust and like metal shavings everywhere. So I'm just gonna use it to cover the windshield. That's a hydraulic pusher thing, bodywork machine. I'm gonna show you guys that in a later clip. But for right now, I'm just gonna set up a time lapse. And what I've been doing is certain holes, I'll start off with the drill and try to eat as much as I can. And then I'm using the die grinder to kind of just like grind. Like I'm using like 36 grit paper, and I'm just grinding as much of the metal down. And then I'm just kind of like prying them. You can see that they're still left behind, and that's not a concern because I'm gonna go ahead with the angle grinder and just flatten everything out and then get it ready for it to be welded back in. So it's kind of like it's not ideal, but it's getting the job done without me having to buy like all the proper tools, put it that way. Okay, so as you guys saw in the time lapse, kind of the sequence I was using is pretty much those tools to just grind out the spot welds and then just pop off as much as I can. So that's the body tool I was talking about. So as you guys saw, my bad. As you guys saw, I pried it in between here, and I was kind of forcing this up. It has all these other attachments that I could use, but for right now, I just need to separate these two pieces. So I was using that piece, but it's working pretty well. Let me continue. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get these out. I'm gonna try my best. Okay, so I tried with the drill and it's not working. So instead of fighting this for hours on end, I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more on this side. Nothing on this side. Okay, good. I'm just gonna go ahead and order the tool I need and wait for it to come in, and then go ahead and tackle these spot welds, because I could probably be here for at least 20 minutes per spot weld, and it's just not worth it. What I'm gonna be tackling now is kind of like this area right now. That's my little hydraulic pump. So what I did is I set it up in between here. And before I was a 1/4 inch off, and now I am almost good. Almost, pretty much there. So I'm gonna see if everything bolts up, and I'm gonna let go of the tension, see what happens, and then obviously if this side pulls back in, I'm gonna have to overstretch it and then let it sit back down. So right now I'm just gonna be setting up a time lapse and letting you guys see kind of like the process. It's just pretty much just making sure, because these sit, like you can see this one, like it sits at a weird like angle. That one's still sitting a little funky. So it's just pretty much about getting the angle right, because I know this is a good point. This is the point that needs to be fixed. So let's see what happens. Alright, so you guys saw in the time lapse, I got the old piece out with that C-Tupago or whatever it's called. But yeah, so this is the new piece, and they pretty much bolted up right away. I had to bend the metal lip down there a little bit because I deformed it while hammering it, but that's not a big deal. All the bolt holes lined up, sitting nice and flush, not doing anything weird until you get down here. Yeah, so I was really hoping to avoid, I see all this needs to be pushed down, but that I could deal with that later. I was really hoping to avoid replacing this bottom piece, but I might have to cut half and then cut the new piece and then box weld it and figure it out. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's kind of progress on the apron. So this is the piece I was talking about. I really don't want to order this new. I could salvage this piece, but that's going to be a lot of spot welding and grinding and glue. So I got to remove this piece to even get to this piece. But then once I remove all that, then I put the apron under. That wouldn't be too structurally. I gotta debate. Do I want to replace the whole thing, or do I cut this and tack this on? Because I could cut. You see how it has all these crease marks? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. I could cut it by the. See, that's 4, and I could cut it by the hole and straighten and just tap. I gotta think about this one. I gotta think. Let me see if I can save it first. Okay, so I put in a YouTube short. I might include the clip in here if it doesn't look too bad, because I filmed it for YouTube Shorts. But I use this tool. It pretty much just grabs a nice pinch of the metal. I don't want to touch it because it's hot, because I had to heat it up. So I pulled as much as I can against the crash bar. Now I'm going to take the hydraulic jack thing that I bought from Harbor Freight, and I'm going to try and push this out like this, maybe from that corner out this way. I'm gonna try and save this support because here, so it's only damaged this section. So this section is kind of, once I put this top, like it sits like this. So you can see once I get if I replace the top piece, the bottom piece, I could get to line up to the top piece. So it's gonna sit something like this. And then once I put the radiator support inside and I tack weld everything, it doesn't matter if the other one's a little kinked up, because it's gonna have 2 points of contact that's gonna support it, and then once it's all welded up, it's gonna be good. So I'm gonna set up a time lapse of me trying to get this as straight as I can. Okay, so I finally got the apron looking good. Sorry, I'm disgusting. But let me show you what I kind of did. You guys saw in the time lapse, but let me show you. Okay, so what I did, so I mocked this up, but I ended up cutting this bottom support. I cut the old piece out, I cut the new piece, and you can see right there, I gotta sand it a little bit, and then I'll tack weld it just to get it to sit like, you know, in this right spot. I gotta still work on this, but this is a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. But it looks good so far. It looks good. Everything's lining up pretty nicely. It's lining up in original spots it was. Yeah, you know, once everything's tightened down, it's gonna sit a lot better. But for right now, this is actually really, really nice. I have to run some errands, so I'm gonna actually be ending this video here. In the next video, hopefully I have everything mocked up, start welding, and have the core support kind of like on the car and everything ready to be reassembled. So if you guys enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.